Hey everyone, Shane here with etrailer.com. Today I have a 2019 Subaru Legacy. I'm going to walk through how to install the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector. That's what our wiring is going to look like when it's installed. It's going to be designed to live inside of the vehicle. When we're ready to use it, you simply hang it out over top the rubber seal. Make sure you're staying away from a connector point. Close your hatch or close your trunk lid, connect it to your trailer, and you're ready to go. When we're not using it, we can simply roll it up, throw our dust cap on it, and it can be stored right underneath our panel in our little storage compartment here above our spare tire. This is going to give us all the proper lighting functions that we're going to need to safely tow a trailer. Both turn signals, running lights, and brake lights. It's going to come with a nice dust cap, so when we're not using it, simply install the dust cap on. It keeps your connections from getting corroded or anything clogged inside of those. We're going to have 3 amps per circuit for stop and turn signals, 5 amps per circuit for tail lights. This is not only going to be great for obviously pulling a trailer, but what if we had a cargo carrier in our cargo box that was big enough that covered or partially covered our tail lights, where nobody behind us could see what we're doing? There are options for some cargo carriers that you can mount lights on them. You simply plug this into them, and then it gives you your running lights, your brake lights, and turn signals on the back of that cargo carrier to basically take up for what's covering your lights, so that again you're legal and you're safe. This is going to be adaptable to work with 5, 6, and 7-pole plugs, which you can find here at eTrailer. As far as the installation process, pretty simple and straightforward. I'm going to plug in behind each tail light, so we don't have to do any splicing there. It's going to have a converter box. The converter box is filled with potting material. And what the converter box does, it protects the vehicle's factory wiring from backfeed if there's a wiring issue on the trailer side. We're going to have a power wire that runs up to the battery. It's going to be connected to a fuse holder and connected to the positive side of the battery. Other than that, that's all there really is to the installation portion. Now that we've gone over some of the features, let's go ahead and walk through how to get it done. Start your installation. We need to get in the trunk. We're going to remove our floor coverings, including the foam pad that's sitting here underneath your floor. Once you get that removed, you're going to take a trim panel tool. On your threshold, you're going to have 3 pushman fasteners. We're going to remove all 3, and then we're going to remove the threshold. We're just going to pull up, and then we'll set that aside. And we're going to come to our panels. We're going to have a tie down. All we're going to do is spin it. That'll allow you to pull it out. We're going to move this fastener here, and then we're going to have one up here. Once you get those off, we'll be able to pull our liner out. We're going to repeat that same process on the other side. We're going to come to the tail light on our driver's side. We're going to look for this white plug. We're going to push down on that tab on the top. Disconnect the wiring. On our wiring harness, we're going with the yellow, red, and brown wire. We're going to install that in its place. Plug one in into the wire we just disconnected. The other one's going to go back into the tail light. And we'll have our ground wire. It's going to come with a self-tapper. However, this bolt right here holds our tail light in place, and it's on a metal surface, so I'm just going to loosen that nut, slide this on, and reinstall the nut. And we can do it on either one of these. Thinking I might do it on this one. That way I can mount my converter box down here in this corner, and it doesn't affect me putting this panel back in place. Take an 8mm socket. We can remove that nut. We're going to have 2-sided sticky tape in our kit. We'll peel off one side. We'll install it on our box. Doesn't really matter which side. push that into place like that. We're going to take our green wire and our 4-pole wire. We're going to run it right over to the center of the vehicle just like that. Next, we're going to take the black wire coming off our converter box. It's going to be pre-stripped. We're going to install a butt connector. We're going to take the bundle wire that comes in our kit. It's going to look like this. We're going to take one end, we're going to strip it back and install it in the other end of the butt connector. I'm going to take some electrical tape. I'm going to run it around that butt connector. Next, we need to get the other end of our black wire out of the vehicle because we're going to be running it up front into the engine compartment. There's a plug down on that corner that we can go to, however, it's kind of hard to get to. We don't really have a plug here that we can just drop it through. So if we look right here, we have a little flap. This is to release air pressure when you close your doors. We can take our wire, or we can feed it right down through one of them, and it'll come out underneath the vehicle. Once you have everything done on that side, you can go ahead and reinstall your panel. We're going to route the green wire over to our passenger side and install it the same way. Next, we need to get our black wire ran up to the front of the vehicle to the engine compartment. Let me get it done real quick and I'll show you how I did it. When you're running your wire up, you want to make sure you're staying away from anything hot or moving. Since our exhaust is sitting right here, what I did is I took out this fastener, took my wire and just tucked it behind this plastic panel, reinstalled those, ran my wire right up. You can see it right there. Behind here, there's a bracket right there. Went over the top of it. And then you have these existing hard lines, or existing wiring and hard lines. Went over the top of everything here. And came down right over here. You see where my line is. Once I got to here, I took out a couple bolts here and then pushed my fasteners all the way up along this edge, pulled down this panel and tucked my wire up underneath. Once we get up to here, I brought it out this end, went straight across. This is my wire. I have a pull wire that I had sent down previously from up top. You can use a wire hanger, really use anything. I'm using an airline tube. You want to make sure when you run this up, you have your steering arm right here. It's going to rotate right here at this knuckle. So you can see what I did is I got it behind this hard line, behind this hard line, behind the hard line up there on top. So when I pull it up, my wire, or these hard lines are going to hold my wire away from this knuckle. This is where I came up. What I did is I ran the wire back behind my brake booster, ran it through underneath this wire. I'm going to run it underneath this positive cable here to the positive side of the battery, but we're going to cut it down in size first. I'm going to cut it about here, strip back the end, grenade on the butt connector. You want to add heat shrink, you can add that on as well. You can find those here at eTrailer. They do not come with your kit though. We're going to take off the two ends here on our fuse holder. One end go in here. Then I'm going to take some electrical tape. I'm going to tape up this end. This end. We're going to put a ring terminal. Then we're going to attach that to the positive side of our battery. Before we do that, I'm going to get my wire zip tied right in here. I'm going to run this through here. For my cap. 12mm socket. We'll remove this nut. Take a ring terminal. I'm going to make sure that the fuse is not in the holder. We'll install it on the positive side of the battery. Reinstall the nut. Once we get it tight, we can install our fuse. Once we install the fuse, we can test it out and make sure it's working correctly. Now we'll test everything out using part number I26. Left turn, right turn, brake lights, running lights. Once you've tested everything out, you know it's working correctly, go ahead and install your dust cap and you're ready to go. It's going to do it for a look at and installation on the Curt T-connector vehicle wiring harness with 4-pole flat trailer connector on a 2019 Subaru Legacy.